What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive right into our first news. Alexandre Pantoja reacts after suffering a brutal arm injury at UFC 323. The flyweight champion was in great spirits heading into the fight, believing he was in the best shape of his life. But everything changed just 26 seconds into the opening round. As Joshua Van caught a head kick and Pantoja tried to brace himself on the way down, his arm posted awkwardly on the canvas. A sudden pop echoed through the arena, and Pantoja immediately grabbed his arm in pain, waving off the fight. The referee stepped in right away, and Van was crowned the new UFC flyweight champion due to the unfortunate injury. After the fight, Pantoja spoke briefly on Instagram. He explained that accidents happen, and despite the heartbreaking outcome, he truly felt this was the best camp of his career. He said he had the best weight cut, the best preparation, and felt completely at home inside the octagon. In his mind, this was his moment. This was his belt. Everything he had worked for throughout his life had led to that night. He genuinely believed he could finish Van in the first round, and that was exactly what he attempted to do. Pantoja admitted that seeing Van across the cage only boosted his confidence. He felt sharp, focused, and ready. But sometimes life takes a different path. He shared that he had spoken with his wife and acknowledged that the night wasn't just about him. He believes it was Joshua Van's destiny to win the belt on that night, even if it came through such an unfortunate turn of events. He also said he turned to God during this difficult moment. According to him, God gave him a message, and he's choosing to trust that message fully. Pantoja explained that he prays a lot, and even though this setback hurts, he knows it is part of a bigger plan. He stated that he has worked hard his entire life, and he will work hard again. With full determination, he promised that he will return, recover, and take back the belt he feels is still his. Despite the heartbreak, his message was full of humility and belief. Pantoja closed by saying that he remains committed, strong, and ready to rise once more. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to support the channel. Moving on to another news. Dana White reacted to Merab losing the belt at UFC 323, sharing his thoughts on one of the toughest fighters he has ever seen. Speaking at the post-fight press conference, Dana praised Merab's toughness and showed nothing but respect for the former champion. He explained that even though he and Merab didn't get off on the right foot early in their relationship, he has nothing but admiration for everything Merab has accomplished throughout his career. Dana emphasized that Merab's dedication, skill, and resilience have always made him a standout fighter in the division. Dana also highlighted the performance of Petr, praising the way he handled the fight. He mentioned the combination of body shots, headshots, and high-level wrestling that Jan displayed, calling it an incredibly technical and intense fight. According to Dana, the matchup was a perfect showcase of talent, determination, and strategy at the highest level. He said that the fight demonstrated exactly why fans love the sport, noting that it was a spectacular way to close out the ESPN era in the UFC. Throughout his comments, Dana maintained a tone of respect for both fighters, recognizing the hard work, discipline, and competitive spirit required to perform at such a level. He acknowledged the challenges Merab faced in the fight and celebrated Jan's achievement, while keeping the focus on the quality of the matchup itself. Dana concluded by emphasizing that this fight will be remembered for its intensity, skill, and significance in the sport, and that both fighters left everything in the octagon that night. Moving on to another news, Arman fires back at Paddy Pimblett's comments after a heated exchange sparked during the UFC's seasonal press conference for the 2020-26 lineup. With UFC 324 fast approaching, Paddy made his appearance and gave several interviews, including one with Full Send MMA, where he decided to go off on Arman. Paddy started by mocking Arman's past opponents, claiming they were overrated, and insisting that Arman didn't actually beat Charles Oliveira. He then dragged up old controversies, saying Arman has a habit of ruining main events. He brought up the Islam situation and even mentioned how Arman supposedly almost jeopardized the UFC Qatar main event by headbutting Dan Hooker at the weigh-ins. Paddy continued, saying Arman is a liability to the UFC and someone they can't depend on. He even mocked Beneil Dariush, calling him old, and saying Arman beating him meant nothing. Paddy claimed Arman punched a fan on his walk to the cage, got banned for it, and added that the UFC probably had to pay a fee so the situation wouldn't turn into a lawsuit. He didn't stop there. Paddy roasted Arman for pulling out of his title shot with a bad back, saying he probably couldn't make weight and used the injury as an excuse. He pointed out that Arman sat out for 11 months, then fought Dan and headbutted him at the weigh-in. almost ruining another main event. Paddy said Dan's grappling is weak and insisted that if he himself had that same guillotine locked around Arman, he would have put him to sleep without question. Well, it didn't take long for Arman to see those comments blowing up on social media, and when he did, he fired back hard. He posted on X, saying he could easily talk about how Paddy only fights once a year and usually against senior citizens, or how the UFC keeps giving him the easiest road possible to build him up for that paper belt. But instead, Arman said just one thing. If Paddy ever finds the courage to step into the octagon with him, there's only one outcome, and it's the one Paddy fears the most. Arman said the world will finally see that Paddy is a fraud. He told Paddy to keep running his mouth, but warned him not to be the one who ends up messing his pants in January. He made it crystal clear that once the octagon door closes, he'll be the one walking out with his hand raised, while Paddy will be the one getting helped out of the cage. As for his upcoming fight with Justin Gaethje, Paddy took a completely different tone during the press conference. He said he won't make the same mistake James Vick made by disrespecting Gaethje and getting knocked out. Paddy called Gaethje a legend and said he has nothing but respect for him. He expects a war, and he's excited to share the octagon with someone he considers his favorite fighter's favorite fighter. Paddy said he wants a 5-round brawl and hopes to walk away with a performance bonus and a fight of the night bonus. Moving on to another news, Dana White reveals why Arman hasn't received a title shot yet, addressing questions about the #1 contender after recent developments in the division. Dana explained that Arman still needs to earn his way back after pulling out of the fight against Islam. While some might consider him the odd man out now, Dana clarified that it's not about the rankings or the number beside his name. The opportunity was there, but the way it played out means he has to work his way back into contention. Dana stressed that these situations carry too much weight for things to happen without proper resolution. He pointed out that the UFC has seen countless twists and turns over the past 20+ years, but there's a standard for title opportunities. Fighters can't get a chance at the belt and then have circumstances prevent a proper fight or end things in an unsatisfactory way. According to Dana, Arman's path isn't closed, but it requires effort, consistency, and proving himself again before stepping into a championship fight. He also mentioned the ongoing plans in the division, noting that Ilya is expected to unify against the interim title winner. This keeps the division moving forward while ensuring that everyone earns their spot. Dana emphasized that it's not personal against Arman, but rather a matter of maintaining fairness and integrity in how title shots are awarded. The UFC wants to make sure that when a fighter steps into a championship bout, the circumstances are right, and the fight is legitimate for both competitors and the fans. Dana's message was clear. Arman has the talent and the opportunity, but he must go through the proper steps to reclaim a title shot. It's about discipline, accountability, and making sure the division remains competitive and credible. The path back is there, and Dana expects Arman to put in the work, prove himself, and eventually return to contention when the timing and circumstances are right. The UFC continues to prioritize fairness and proper progression for every fighter in the division. Moving on to another news, Merab reacts after losing his belt at UFC 323, sharing his first thoughts from inside an ambulance while being transported to the hospital. He was accompanied by his friend Aljamain Sterling, who stayed by his side during the ride. Despite the devastating loss, Merab remained composed and grateful for the support he received from fans and loved ones. In his Instagram story, Merab captioned the video, "Tonight wasn't my night, but I will be back stronger than ever. Thank you everyone for your support." He also shared a personal moment, saying he was in the hospital with his brother Aljamain and on the phone with his mother. The brief message highlighted both his disappointment and his determination to come back even stronger. Merab's response showed resilience and humility, reflecting the mindset of a true champion. Even in defeat, he focused on the positives, thanking those who stood by him and reaffirming his commitment to return to the octagon. Fans could see that despite the pain and frustration, Merab is already looking forward to the future and plotting his comeback to reclaim the title he once held. Moving on to another news, Dana White responds to Tom Aspinall after the heavyweight champion expressed disappointment over how the UFC 321 controversy was handled. During the UFC 323 media scrum, Dana was asked if he had spoken to Tom or had any updates about the situation. Dana admitted that he had not talked to Tom directly yet, but he understood why Tom felt the way he did. He said he didn't even fully remember the exact comments he made, but he acknowledged the frustration. When a reporter reminded him that he had previously said he thought Tom's eyes were okay, Dana clarified the intent behind that remark. Dana explained that his comment wasn't meant to downplay Tom's injury or dismiss his concerns. He emphasized that he is not a doctor and was simply repeating what he had been told at the moment by the medical team and staff members around Tom. According to Dana, the statement wasn't made in a disrespectful or casual tone. It wasn't him saying, "Oh, he's fine," as if he didn't care. He said he had only meant that based on the early information he heard, he believed Tom would heal up and return after some time off. Dana also addressed Tom's criticism that he hadn't reached out to him personally. He acknowledged that he hadn't spoken with him one-on-one, but insisted that the UFC had multiple staff members closely monitoring Tom's condition. He said the organization had people checking on him constantly, making sure he was okay, asking if he needed specialists, and ensuring that he was receiving proper attention. Dana stressed that just because he personally didn't call, it didn't mean the UFC wasn't supporting Tom behind the scenes. He admitted that comments can easily be taken out of context, especially when emotions are high and clips are circulating online. Dana said he genuinely couldn't remember the exact phrasing he used because interviews move fast and he says a lot of things in the moment. But he was clear about one thing. He insisted that he never said anything negative, derogatory, or dismissive about Tom. He understands why Tom might be upset, especially after such an intense and controversial moment in his career. Dana believes Tom is fired up right now, which is natural for a champion dealing with uncertainty. He closed by saying that Tom will heal, recover, and return to action. And when he does, the UFC will be ready to get him back inside the octagon. Moving on to another news. The UFC is facing a potential lawsuit over the Dillon Danis altercation that took place at UFC 322 last month at Madison Square Garden. During the event, Danis was involved in a massive brawl that even interrupted the live broadcast, forcing cameras to turn toward the crowd to see what was happening. In the chaos, Danis was reportedly jumped by about 7 men from Dagestan, including members of Islam Makhachev's team, such as Abu Bakr Nagov and Chonko. From the available footage, it appears that Danis was on the receiving end of a brutal attack. However, rumors circulating online suggest that Danis may have instigated the confrontation by showing an AI video of Ali Abdulaziz, Islam Makhachev. Regardless of who started it, the incident led to serious consequences. At the UFC 322 press conference, Dana White confirmed that Danis had been banned from all future UFC events following the brawl. On top of that, Danis's Misfits title defense against Anthony Taylor was canceled due to medical issues arising from the incident. This cancellation, combined with potential injuries, has created a situation where Danis could seek compensation. Logan Paul recently appeared on Aiden Ross's stream and claimed that Danis is preparing to sue not only the UFC, but also Madison Square Garden. Logan believes Danis has a strong chance of winning the case, which could include compensation for the canceled fight and any damages sustained during the attack. Logan explained that Danis's argument would be based on the fact that he did not expect to be jumped by multiple men while attending Madison Square Garden. He noted that Danis is currently undergoing concussion protocol, which prevented him from attending a deposition and forced him to pull out of his fight. If he can prove he suffered a legitimate concussion, he could claim substantial damages. Logan thinks that if Danis wins the suit, he could potentially make millions from it. While the UFC would certainly be displeased, Danis may view legal action as his only option since his UFC career is effectively over due to the ban. Logan also mentioned that despite the controversy, Dana White always says never say never, hinting that opportunities could still arise. But for now, suing the UFC and Madison Square Garden could be a lucrative move for Danis if he plays his cards right. Moving on to another news, Dana White revealed a wave of sad updates during the post-fight press conference, focusing on the condition of Pantoja after his brutal war inside the octagon. Dana confirmed that it wasn't Pantoja's elbow, as many initially thought, but his shoulder that had been dislocated during the fight. The shoulder was popped back into place backstage, but Dana made it clear that the road ahead looks long and uncertain. He explained that the medical team now needs to run MRIs, check the ligaments, and fully evaluate how severe the damage actually is. Dana said that while he isn't a doctor, he simply doesn't see Pantoja returning anytime soon. He expects that Joshua Van will most likely defend his belt before Pantoja is cleared to come back to action. Dana emphasized that ligament injuries can often be worse than an actual bone break, and even after recovering, Pantoja will need additional time to safely return to striking and full training. Because of that, Dana believes strongly that there will be another title defense before Pantoja steps back into the cage. The situation grew more concerning when a doctor on Twitter added his medical perspective. According to him, Pantoja may have suffered a left supracondylar humerus fracture, which could have happened through an indirect mechanism where the arm is extended and force is transmitted from the hand all the way up the arm. He explained that when Pantoja fell, the impact would first be absorbed through the carpal bones in the wrist, with the force then traveling upward to the distal humerus. This kind of injury can be extremely painful, complicated to heal, and often requires extended recovery time, especially for a high-level athlete who depends on explosive movement, grappling strength, and upper body control. Dana acknowledged how tough the entire situation is, praising Pantoja for his heart and warrior spirit. But he made it clear that the UFC won't rush him back, especially given the unpredictable healing timeline for ligament and bone injuries in the shoulder region. With the flyweight division now in an interesting position, Joshua Van may be stepping into his first defense sooner than expected, while fans wait to see how quickly Pantoja can recover from what might be one of the most serious injuries of his championship run. Moving on to another news, Petr has officially shut down the idea of an immediate rematch with Merab after reclaiming the UFC Bantamweight title. Speaking at the post-fight press conference, Jan made it clear that Merab needs to work his way back to a title shot. According to him, the next step for Merab should be earning a win over Umar Nurmagomedov before even being considered for another championship opportunity. The stance caught many by surprise, especially given Merab's dominant run as champion and his 3 successful title defenses, circumstances that usually guarantee an instant rematch. Reporters asked Jan to choose between a trilogy with Merab or a fight against Umar, and which of the two he sees as the more dangerous challenge. Jan pointed to their most recent fight, saying that everyone saw how Merab versus Umar played out, and based on that performance, it should be clear who poses the greater threat. He suggested that Merab and Umar should face each other again, settle their rivalry, and then the division can see what happens next. Jan also reminded everyone of the road he had to travel to get another crack at the belt. He explained that after losing his title previously, the UFC made him go through 3 more fights before he was even considered for a top contender position again. For him, it's only fair that Merab follows the same path. Nothing should be handed out, and every title challenger should earn their way back through undeniable performances. Jan's message was straightforward. This is a competitive division, and no one gets special treatment. If Merab wants another shot, he has to prove it by beating Umar and re-establishing himself as the clear #1 contender. Until then, Jan is focused on defending his belt against whoever the UFC sees as the rightful next challenger. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for your daily dose of MMA news.